What's up, everybody, at the Love and Imperfection Project? I'm Luisa, as usual. This is my good friend Andrea.
Hi, y'all.
So today we want to talk about loving our imperfections. Today we're actually going to find out a little bit about Andreita here. We're going to find out the dirt.
Dirt?
The dirt.
I hope
Well,
not.
first of all,
I don't have any dirt.
It's okay. First of all, we would like to clarify that imperfections and how we're expressing it are tendencies. We're not trying to focus on imperfection being a flaw, but we're focusing on making it a positive thing so that we can work on it and that we can be the best version of ourselves. So whenever we talk about imperfections, we want to look at it in a positive light. So, having said that, Andreita, first of all, how old are you? Give me like basic information about you so that we can
Okay, well, I'm 23 years old.
23 years old.
I'm Colombian.
You're Colombian. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have two brothers, older. I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest.
Yeah. What else do you want to know?
And okay, that's pretty good. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's how we break the
That's
ice.
a little about me.
FYI,
Everybody,
she's
it's
young,
all
good looking, and she's got two older brothers. Don't piss her off. You might get knocked out. So,
Yes.
so talking about
Very
imperfections.
likely.
What are some of your imperfections that you would like to share with us today? What is something?
Okay,
what
so-
are your tendencies?
My tendencies, or something, because we were talking about this, something I'm working on myself,
Exactly.
right? So I thought of one, and because you mentioned like childhood and like how like all the experiences you have when you're young affect you now. So like it reminded me when I was young, which is probably really funny because like when I was young, I remember I was in grade 4 or something like that. Anyways, but in Colombia, obviously you have to get picked up and whatever because you can't just go home from school. Yeah, you can't go home by yourself because it's dangerous. Well, I don't know, you're young anyways. So I would always have to wait for my either Jose, which is my older brother, or my dad to come pick me up. But these people forgot about me. They would always leave me till the end. What they would do is put us outside, with our backpacks, waiting for a ride.
You'd be the last
And
child.
I'd be the last child. So I remember, and I'm never gonna forget, that I would always just sit there and I'd think, I'm like, okay, so if they leave me here, the teachers are gonna be my mom and dad, and I have to see them as parents, and then I'm gonna live here, and I would think of this whole
You poor child.
scenario.
You thought you were gonna get abandoned,
Yeah.
and that you were gonna be adopted by your child.
Literally.
Okay.
And another thing was that I would actually going to school, I would try to memorize the ride so that if I had to go back home, I was able to go back home by myself. So anyways, that made me think, and I was like, you know what? That's
She's
something
resourceful.
I am.
She
And
gets
you're
home.
not leaving me. Even if you're trying to leave me, abandon me, I will get back.
I'll show up at your house. So back to your imperfection.
So-
How has this affected you today? What are some things that you can recognize that this has impacted you in your life?
I think this has impacted me because in a way, I like to be alone and I love spending time by myself, but going through puberty and growing up, I had a lot of issues of just being scared to be alone in general.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be without my parents. There was a phase, and I know because when you're 13 and going to 15, you pass a puberty type of stage where you're scared of stuff and whatever. I passed that that I would have I couldn't be alone.
Panic attack.
Panic attack if I was alone. No. If I was alone, I would probably have a panic attack.
Because
but I would
you
never
felt like you were being abandoned. You were reliving that kind of.
I don't know, but I guess
Yeah.
I would just feel scared to just be by myself. So I'm thinking, and I'm maybe that had to do with that.
Most likely. Yeah, 100%.
I don't know.
Okay, so being alone scared you.
Yes.
But how has now that made you into the person that you are? How has that experience, how have you worked on that so that you can overcome that?
So basically you're asking me how I overcame
How did you overcome that?
How did I
And
overcome
how,
that?
whenever you are alone now, are you better being alone now? like because you've been alone, so now it's like, well, I've been alone, so now I just distract myself. I know what to do when I'm alone because I had to work on that.
Yes. So yeah, like, well, honestly, I don't know, like, it's more of like life happens and like you grow up and you go to school and you go to university and then you're like you have to move out of your house and it's like you don't depend on your parents anymore, so it's like just you, and you know that like life depends on you, and like anything you do it's just you alone. Even though you have your parents, but like you like realize that you as an adult you just have to be alone and like overcome stuff by yourself. And what helped me though, like even though I like being alone now, sometimes like I'm a very social person, so I do like to be with people, and I don't like to just be alone 24/7. And I still think like I don't know if it would scare me, but I think it would just be like really sad to feel alone the whole like all the time.
So you think that you have a better understanding of what being alone is, and you can cope with it a lot better today than you would have before.
For sure. And now because I'm more aware of it, and now I'm more aware of like, okay, I'm alone. But you know what? It's actually amazing to be alone because I can focus in me, and I can do the stuff that I like, and I can do whatever I want. And that's
do you ever feel that same fear that you felt as a child ever in any circumstances today? Maybe not to that level.
Maybe not to that level. Mm-hmm. I don't think to that level, but definitely that's something I still work on every day. Mm-hmm. In the way that being alone shouldn't scare me. That's something I still work on.
Okay, so being aware that you have a past with being alone and feeling abandoned and being aware of that. No, but you know, we all have triggers. We've all been in different places, so we all have our own thing. But having an awareness of yourself has a better how am I going to say this? Can help you work towards that situation in a better way.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. No, that's what I mean. Like,
so you don't feel no longer like you're abandoned.
No.
Now you're aware that you've been there. Now you know where it comes from. And today you have a better understanding of it, and you can respond to that situation better.
Yeah, because I'm also looking at that actually being alone is great. Because you concentrate more. You can do stuff that you can't do when you're with other people. It's not like you can't, but like when you're spending time with other people, you're doing other stuff. Like I'm not really focusing on me, or like stuff that I should do by myself. Mm-hmm. And it's a different mindset. Yeah, that's what I'm like.
So if a little girl today is listening to you and being like, that's me, man. Every time I get left behind, I feel like I'm going to be abandoned. What would you say to that little girl and how to deal with that imperfection, that fear, that tendency in her life? What would you say to her?
I would say that, like, don't think about it like that, because it's actually, you're not actually being abandoned. If you think about it, we're never really alone in this world. There's people everywhere. So you're not really, like, if it's your parents and they leave you, they go somewhere else, okay, whatever. Like, you will still have people around you. So if anything, you just go and talk to somebody else. Like, you will never be alone. Like, there's so many people in this world. And also, okay, let's say, like, you live in a place where there's not that many people. I don't know, a farmhouse, and your freaking neighbor's, like, I don't know how many kilometers away or whatever. Mm-hmm. But just the thought of, like, being alone is literally just, you depend on you, and that's it. So that means you can do whatever you want. Whatever you dream of.
Is more of like a mindset. Like, you feel that you're going to be alone. But in general, we're alone every day. So
exactly. That's what I mean. Like, you're alone every day.
So changing your mindset about how you feel about the situation and understanding where that fear comes from definitely helps you deal with it better.
And that it shouldn't be a fear, to be honest. It shouldn't be. It's not something bad. That's just part of, I think everybody goes through that. Yeah, I mean, we're all alone. So, yeah, that's exactly what you said. Is exactly what I mean. That's
Ditto! Do you want me to do the interview about myself? What's going on?
I shouldn't even be
So
here.
what we've learned today as the Love and Imperfection Project is that a lot of us have a lot of imperfections. A lot of us have a lot of tendencies. And we don't like to call it flaws because we are all imperfect. We are all human. So for us to call ourselves our imperfections flaws, then it means that we can't really acknowledge them to work on them because we're always focused on being perfect. And if you can't acknowledge what you're imperfect or what your tendencies are, then how can you make them better? So we're not here to pinpoint fingers or, play the blame game. We're here to find out what are our tendencies, what are imperfections, and why are they there, and how can we work towards bettering our mindset so that we can approach a situation in a better, healthier way, so we can become the best that we can be. So today, Andreita shared that she had a fear of being abandoned. That's a real fear that people face. So it's not something that maybe for some people you take it lightly, but for others it's a serious fear. So if you're dealing with this fear today, understand that it's a mindset. A lot of times we're just being triggered in our life, and we can always turn that around so that we can own up to our situation and make the best out of it. So thank you so much for being with us today. This is Andreita.
Thank you.
Give her some love. She stood up here and gave us some deep information about her life. It wasn't easy, I'm sure, because it's not easy to open up, but we did it. And thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
Now we can send love.
Yay.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.